It's your girl, Lady Mocha. And you know I'm going to always pour you a cup of truth, and I'm going to always break you off with a slice of knowledge.
Peace, people. Today's topic I want to touch up on is the ugly side of being a side chick. You know, I'm going to touch up on what people don't like to touch up on. The ugly side of being a side chick, right? The dangers of it. You get involved with a man that you know he got a wife, right? You know this man got a wife. You cool with it. You with that. You attracted to him still, nevertheless, right? Y'all start doing what y'all do. It leads up to you having a child, right? You get pregnant. You have a child with this man. Your child becomes the side child. Now, here's where things get interesting, because your child becomes the side child, right? Your child becomes the side child. You was 5 minutes of fame. You knew that. All of your girls was in your ear telling you the whole time, you need to leave him alone. You know he got a wife. You know what your girls do. Nevertheless, you still chose to deal with him, right? Even though your girls was in your ear, you know he got a wife. What you doing? He ain't no good. Truth of the matter is, you was just as foul as he was. Let's keep it 100. But you decide to lay down with this man because y'all grown. He grown. You grown. Y'all made a decision. It was feeling good for the moment, right? Now, your 5 minutes of fame and having fun don't lead to you getting knocked up. You knew when you got knocked up, that man had a wife. I don't know what you told yourself. Maybe you having a baby was going to break him and his wife up. But it didn't. Instead, what happened was, he ends up telling you, you can't keep the baby. You keep that baby anyway. Now you have a baby that you feel like is a secret baby. Did you expect that man to bring your child home to his wife? Or did you think that he was going to leave his wife for you? Nevertheless, he's still with his wife. He know he can't bring that baby home because he's not willing to leave his wife. He's not willing to lose his wife. You know he can't bring that baby home. But nevertheless, you start to feel like your child is a side child. And that's if the man even stick around. Because some of the dudes, they blow it. It doesn't matter how pretty you are. You might even look better than the wife. He ain't leaving the wife. She's the wife for a reason. Ladies, you got to understand something. The majority of us men who was raised without fathers was taught it's all good to have multiple women. As a matter of fact, it's a badge of honor to have more than one woman for a man. The majority of men have more than one woman. But you were never supposed to have the kid. It was only supposed to be fun. You got knocked up. Duke blew it. Your child was raised with resentment. Your child was raised with resentment. Your child don't even know who his father is. But then there's a flip side. There's the dude that's trying to hang around to be a father, but you feel like your child is being kept in the closet. He's not sharing your child on Facebook. He's not sharing your child on Instagram. He's not parading your child around to his family and showing and representing his badge of shame. Because the way he was raised, adultery is adultery, and a whore is a whore. So now he has to present your bastard child on a plate of garbage to anybody that's righteous. But nevertheless, you caught in your feelings. Now you have animosity because you're in the closet. You want to be on the forefront. Your child is in the closet. You want your child to be on the forefront. But no matter what and how much you want that, he's never going to leave his wife. He's never going to bring your child home to his wife so that she could side eye. Even if she accepts your kid, she giving your kid cold stares, the side eye, ready to spit on your child every time your child walk to and from and pass inside of her house. Is that what you really want? Think about it before you make the decision to be a side chick and then decide to have a side kid who will grow up with a lot of resentment, with a whole lot of resentment. When they go around your friends and play with your friends' kids and they start snapping, you know, like how children snap when they're in school or when they're in the park because parents gossip and the kids hear, their kids is going to make fun of your kids behind the decisions that you make. Your family is going to trash you behind the decision that you made. And just remember, when they sit up there and they tell you that nigga ain't shit, I'm here to tell you, sweetheart, you ain't shit neither. When you decided to roll in the mud, you knew the consequences of your acts, baby. When you decided to get knocked up, not having no prophylactic or birth control, you didn't know the consequences. So that means this video right here is for you females that never experienced that, but you play in the role of a side chick. I'm not telling you can't be a side wife. Or a second wife, rather. I'm not telling you that. Because it's more respectable if that's what you choose. But when you take on the title of being the side chick, the hidden chick, that is a badge of shame. There's a difference between a side wife and a side chick. You took on the role of being a side chick. Let me correct that. There's no such thing as a side wife. You got a second wife, a third wife. You down with polygamy? That's what you down with. But when you decided to be a side wife, a side chick, and have side kids, you signed children up to come into this world to go through not having a father that's there, or having those children ask you, hey mom, why we can't never go to daddy house? And you have to respond to your children, hey darling, you can't go to daddy's house because daddy's wife is going to smack the shit out of him for creeping behind her back. Daddy's wife is probably going to try to put something poisonous in your food because she doesn't even want you sitting at her dinner table. Daddy's wife is going to wish death on you. So baby girl, it's better off that you don't go to daddy's house because you're not welcome there. Daddy's going to lose out on his other family because mom and dad was rolling around in the mud and you became a sidekick, aka a casualty of war. See how that sound? A little irrational. I'm just here to keep it funky. This is what you gonna get from me. What everybody else don't want to talk about. When you dudes run around and decide to be running up in these females because they looking all pretty and dropping children all over the place because they looking all pretty, these children become casualties of war. Anyway, people, I'll be going live today. Look out for my live. I'll be addressing certain individuals. Look out for that. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the share button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. And if you know a female or you playing with a female that's your side chick, make her understand by showing her this video that the decisions that both of y'all are making is going to affect the children, because you know you ain't leaving your wife for her. She ain't worth that to you. And that kid that she give birth to ain't gonna be worth you leaving your wife neither. Because you love your wife. You was just raised to be a piece of shit of a Negro and think that women are trophies. But the wife ain't nothing like her. You ain't never going nowhere. And 9 times out of 10, even when the wife find out about that side kid, she ain't going nowhere neither. Just to piss you off. Make sure y'all share this video with the side chick and the cheating nigga, so they can know the consequences of their acts. Peace and love.
What's up, everybody? Good morning. It is your girl, your diva in knowledge, Lady Mocha, representing Mocha's Cafe de Paris. Okay, I know it's Tuesday. I hope everybody enjoyed their 3-day weekend, being that we just had Labor Day yesterday. So I hope it all went pleasant for you. Maybe you went to a cookout. Maybe you just took that as another day to just kick back and relax. Whatever you chose to do, I hope you was able to recharge your battery so you can get prepared for a whole nother week, because you never know what the week has in store for you. But on that note, I want to thank everybody for rocking out and dining out with your girl here, Lady Mocha, here at Mocha's Cafe de Paris. Big ups to all of my subscribers, all of my day ones who have been rocking with me from the beginning when I first started my journey in blogging. Also, to those who have just subscribed, welcome to the family. I thank you for supporting my channel, for viewing all of my content. All of your support is well appreciated. And for those of you who have just joined and this is your first time ever viewing any of my content, I welcome you to Lady Mocha's Cafe de Paris. This is the one of the many few of YouTube channels that are very non-biased, meaning I rock hard for the ladies and the guys. Okay, it's not too many channels you're going to get like that. It's either women that's always just rocking hard for the women, or the men that are always rocking hard for the men. But here at Mocha's Cafe de Paris, I rock hard for both. Okay, so just keep in mind it's non-biased content. Even if I do one content specifically about men, usually I do a part two pertaining to the women as well. But here I definitely, there's no this is not a feminist channel, and this is not a male chauvinistic content either. So just keep in mind this is a very non-biased channel. Okay, and also the content that I do, if it does not apply, let it fly. You ain't got to reply. Okay, just because I'm talking about black women, that don't mean I'm talking about all black women. Just because I'm talking about black men don't mean I'm talking about all black men. You know who you are. Do not let any of us bloggers define what you consider a real man or a real woman. Okay, only you can do that for yourself. Okay, so moving right along. As y'all notice, if y'all haven't been keeping up, I've been doing a 3-part series. On let me pull up the video because I've been doing so many freaking videos, y'all. I lose track of my own stuff. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. But I've definitely been doing a 3-part series on the no respect for sex. I did a part 1. I did a part 2. Part 2, where I left off, I was talking about side chicks with these booby trap babies. If you do not want to be lost in the sauce and you want to know what the hell is going on, make sure you might need to click off of this and go view No Respect for Sex Part 2. View that content first, then come back to this one, and all the dots will be connected so you won't be lost in the sauce. Okay, because this is a 3-part series, and the reason why it's taking so long and I had to break it up into series because sex has so many dynamics tied into it. I'm talking about adultery, fornicating, people not using protection, people not fearing STDs. Now, the last content that I left off, as I stated, I did the No Respect for Sex Part 2, where I talk about side chicks, okay, and these booby trap babies. Now, keep in mind when I say booby trap babies, that's my phrase of saying basically these babies were not planned that these side chicks produce. They were not planned. They were not agreed upon. These babies did not come here out of love. They did not come here out of a relationship. It was a lust. It was just straight fornicating or adultery. In other words, the sex was not pure. It was not between a husband. It was not between a wife. It wasn't even between a relationship. Okay, it wasn't even between a man and a woman who genuinely wanted to be together and both have decided together that we're going to build a future together. This child is something we both want. So that's why I call them booby trap babies, meaning that some of these side chicks will have these babies to try to trap these men into being with them. Now, as I stated, I know this content, a lot of these side chicks out here are going to thumb down. They're not going to like it because the majority, when it comes to us women, we don't like to be called out. We don't like to be exposed. We want to do all exposing, but we don't want nobody exposing us. So I get it. So to all the side chicks, view this content at your own discretion. And if you got any side kids, got any appetizer kids, definitely view at your own discretion, because I'm going to let you know right now, you're not going to be happy with this content. Like I care. You don't have to view it. You don't. You can log off and leave it. Because just keep in mind, even if you thumb me down, you viewed it. So you're added another number to my viewers, to my viewing. So either way, you're helping me out regardless. No love loss, I get it. Sometimes when people step on toes, especially when it's issues pertaining that's hitting close to home, it can be very it can strike a nerve, you know what I mean, especially when you don't live foul and you made some very poor decisions. So I get it. But that was the reason I came up with the phrase booby trap babies, because these are some of these babies that are being produced, they was not agreed upon. A lot of us as women, We have too many options to protect ourselves from getting in that situation. It's bad enough that you're already dealing with somebody that's married, but you make matters worse when you have the audacity to sit up here and get pregnant from these married men. And now you want all this recognition. Now you want your child to be recognized. Now you want your child to get attention. When you knew from the get-go that you didn't have a main chick position. So don't think because now you have a child you're going to be able to come to the forefront and be recognized. You're still not going to be recognized. The only bad part is not only you're not going to be recognized, your child is not going to be recognized. Okay, but let me start off with this because, like I said, two individuals are accountable when it comes to these type of situations. So y'all know I'm going to break down all of the elements. So because I know all of the side chicks out there, they're saying, well, why are you getting on us? Why you're not getting on these men? Why you're not getting on these husbands? Trust and believe. I'm going to ride these dudes just like y'all been riding them, literally. But let's go ahead on, y'all. Okay, so let's go ahead with part series, sex, no respect for sex. This is part 3 of a 3-part series. Okay, so let's start off with accountability, because the accountability is something that a lot of people are just allergic to. You have so many grown ass men and grown ass women who are allergic to accountability, who refuse to take ownership of their screw ups. And we want to keep condoning it. We have a reason. We want to justify. We have all of the excuses in the world. We got more excuses than a prostitute on the corner as to why we end up in the situations we end up in, when the bottom line is you were just straight up negligent. You was irresponsible. You was selfish. You did not think about the consequences before you made the decisions that you made. Bottom line, it comes a point as grown men and grown women, we need to stop making excuses and start taking accountability. Okay? That is how you grow. That is how you prosper. With all of these excuses and you condoning your irresponsible behavior. Now, let's start with accountability, as I stated. Both parties are accountable for their actions. Both, meaning that man and that woman, both failed to take proper precautions and were negligent in their lack of judgment, creating a child. What a lot of people are not understanding is, uh, sorry about that. I just had a text message. Yeah. Um, we have to realize that both parties are accountable due to the fact that as a man, as a grown man, even more so as a grown married man, or grown committed man, even if you don't have papers, if you and a woman decided to be in a committed relationship and you step out on that woman, you are just as guilty as a married man. But it's even more so worse when you're married, because you actually made vows before God. And you, once you have sealed the deal with God, because what a lot of people not realizing, marriage is an anointing. It's a covenant. It's more than just going to your local courthouse and y'all filling out some paperwork through a marriage certificate. Marriage holds way more weight than that, and and not really technically. I don't expect these side chicks out here to understand it, because the majority of them have never been married, and most of them never will be married. So they don't understand the significance of marriage, and I can't blame it all on them. The reason why they don't understand the significance of marriage and the sacredness of marriage is because these married men, you married dudes, are messing with these bras. If no married men was giving these side chicks the time of day, these chicks out here would respect the sacredness and the significance of marriage, because they would know it's something that they cannot contaminate in no shape or form, because these men out here are not giving them the room to contaminate it. And the reason why side chicks do not have any respect for marriage marriage is because these married men are not respecting their wives by staying in their blessed place as husbands. Now, it's back to this accountability. As a married man, you're already wrong when you're stepping on the outside of your marriage. You're already wrong. But you add more insult to injury when you have the audacity to get these chicks knocked up. And this is the reason why I state how not having respect for sex is so deadly, because sex is very powerful. It's a powerful weapon that people are just playing with. Like, people around here playing with guns and shooting guns, not realizing how using guns or have impacted families and victims who have lost their lives tragically behind it. That's the same way sex is. Sex is like a weapon. It's like a gun. People play with it like it's nothing to be taken seriously, not realizing that if you utilize it the wrong way, it can have some very tragic consequences in the end. And basically, when people get in the heat of the moment, lust takes over. Lust takes over common sense. Lust takes over discretion, and lust takes over wisdom. First of all, it just doesn't happen overnight. When people get themselves in situations like this, basically it starts off small and it's like a ball that rolls down the hill. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger. When you're a married man, you have no business even keeping the company of a woman that's single and not your wife. Even if she's married, if she's not your wife, you have no business entertaining another woman. And what I mean by entertaining, because a lot of people think they're playing it safe. You don't need to be going out and having those secret luncheons with this woman and your wife ain't there or your fiance ain't there. You don't need to be on no phone no 2-3 hours holding no conversation, lending a listening ear. What the hell you listening to her for? You already got your own woman you got to tend to. You don't have time to be tending to no woman outside of your marriage. This is how it starts off. Affairs start off, in the workplace. It starts off going out with your homeboys, and this big booty Judy walk past you in the bar, and oh, you just cannot contain yourself. She looking good like a Krispy Kreme glazed donut. You can't resist. You playing Russian roulette when you sit up here and you entertain these women. Cause by nature, men, y'all are natural haunters. You can lie to yourself all you want and say, well, I'm just talking to this broad. It's not going to get no further than that. You playing with fire, bruh. You don't dance with temptation. You don't play with temptation. I'm a married woman. I'm not about to sit up there and hold a conversation with another man too long. Because eventually it's going to cause problems. Because let me tell you something, y'all. The enemy knows when to creep in. You got this person on the side that's just your friend. And the moment you and your wife or you and your husband going through at home, the devil will send this person to want to call you out the blue. You was just on my mind. I was thinking about you. I was wondering how you were doing. Coincidentally, around the time you and your wife beefing, or this dude calling you coincidentally around the time you and your husband beefing, y'all need to recognize the enemy, honey. Y'all just getting stupider and stupider by the day. You can't see when Satan is setting up the stage and trying to prepare a trap for you. Come on. Read in between the lines, y'all. But as I was stating, you married men, you got no business entertaining these females. Because one thing leads to another. It starts off with conversation. Everything is conversation. Next thing you notice, you get more and more comfortable with this person to the point to where now it done went from conversation to relation. Now y'all having relations. You sneaking and seeing this woman. behind your wife back, behind your woman back or whatever, having secret rendezvous, sneaking, creeping. I'm like this. If you can't do it, because a lot of people don't realize when they cheat, and some people don't think they cheating. If you got to do it in public, I mean in private, that already lets you know you out of pocket. Because it shouldn't be something that you should have to hide from your significant other. And that's the same thing that go for you ladies. If y'all don't know if you're cheating, because some people feel like, well, I don't think I'm cheating. We're not doing anything. Okay, well, if that's the case, then why you got to be discreet? Why you can't let your wife or your husband know, okay, me and this guy, me and this woman, we going out to lunch. You welcome to meet us there, or we can go together. Why you got to go behind closed door? Because you know it's a part of you where you want to dabble into it. You want to take a chance. A lot of you know exactly what you're getting ready to do, and you know why you're doing it. If I'm constantly going out to lunch and meeting this guy and never let my husband know, it's a part of me where I don't want my husband to know, because guess what? That means I have some ill will somewhere. It's something that I want to happen. Because if I didn't want anything to happen, I would have made sure I had my husband there with me. Same thing, you women who got wives. You don't bring your wives around, your girl around when you meeting this woman. It's because you want something to happen. Or if you're not letting them know, you know what I mean? I mean, you know, you should be comfortable in a relationship where you should not have to babysit each other, but you should at least have the respect. If your wife or your husband can't come with you, you need to let them know where the hell you at. Yeah, I'm meeting out with her. We going to Red Lobster, whatever, whatever. Nothing to it. If there's nothing, no sneaky agenda, it shouldn't be nothing to it. You should be able to be open with your significant other. But see, this is how things start off. And like I said, one thing leads to another, and that's how you end up in the sack. And some people are so greedy, they don't know how to go at it one time and leave it at that. As I stated, you are already wrong, and I'm not condoning cheating. Really, you're not supposed to be messing with anybody, period. If you're in a committed relationship or you're married. But let's face it, people out here still stubborn, still think they slick, still think they got the gift of gab, to be sneaky and do all kind of malicious things and think they can get over. My thing is, if you're gonna do dirt, at least use some type of discretion in the dirt you're doing, even though you already wrong in the first place. But you don't have to add insult to injury by being sloppy with cheating, by not using protection. Moving further, you end up in a situation where you get greedy. You keep putting your hand back in the cookie jar. What's going to happen? You eat too many cookies, eventually you're going to get sick or you're going to get caught. Now, you know how your grandmother used to have that one cookie jar? And I remember my grandmother was strict. We was only allowed to eat cookies after we had dinner. We wasn't able to just go in the kitchen anytime we want and grab a cookie out the jar. Now, it would be times when I was able to go in that kitchen and sneak a cookie or two when nobody was around looking, when my grandmother wasn't around looking. But the more I kept going back and forth to that cookie jar, eventually she was going to come in the kitchen and catch me stealing the damn cookie. Now, had I just took one or two cookies and got on and not kept going overboard, I wouldn't have got caught. But what happens a lot of times, y'all, with these adulteries and these affairs, it's not a one-time thing. What happens is people keep going back and back to back and forth, back and forth. They don't have no restrictions. They don't have no limits and no boundaries. And that's how they end up getting caught up. That's how they get caught. Like I said, you're already wrong, and I'm not condoning cheating. You're not supposed to cheat at all. But damn, if you're going to, least you could do is not keep pushing your damn luck. And most of the time, when it comes to a child being produced, somebody has pushed their luck. Because usually people get comfortable, especially the more and more and more and more. The first time you're sneaking and doing something, you're more careful. But as time goes on and you going back and you done been screwing this broad or screwing this man for 5, 6, 7 months. Eventually, you're gonna get sloppy. You're not gonna cross all your T's. You're not gonna dot all your I's. You're gonna mess up. You're gonna fall short somewhere. Okay, so that's why I hold you men accountable. You're already wrong, and then on top of that, you're not using any protection, not understanding the risks that are involved. That whatever this broad is giving you, you taking it back to your wife who's not out there cheating and messing around on you. You bringing her something back based on your own negligence. And there's been stories in which has happened where there would be good women who sit home, handle their business, take care of home, and a husband out there whoring, being a male whore, messing with all kind of women. He bring home his wife something, she dies, and he dies a couple of months behind her. It's sad, but stuff like this happens. I know y'all don't want to believe it because we got this attitude where that won't happen to me. But anyway, that's you men. That's where I fought you guys at. And the same thing with married women. Because there's been plenty of cases where married women got knocked up from their side dude. So this ain't just a man problem. You got women out there that are cheating and just as corrupt as these men. When we talk about the word cheating, we treat it like it's just a disease only men could catch. There's women out here catching it too. Out here messing around, sneaking and dealing with this side Negro, dealing with a Jody. That's what they call them, Jodies. You got some married women who deal with Jodies out there too. So let's not make this a one-sided thing. Like this is just a problem only married women go through. Married men have gone through their wives stepping out and cheating and messing around on them. But we're talking about these side chick babies. So that's a whole nother dynamic. But I just wanted everybody to understand that. Now, this is what you married men have to understand. You are the one that is married. Side chick is not married to wife. You are. Side chick is not going to respect your wife if you don't. Okay? In other words, once you have become intimate with the appetizer on several occasions, she doesn't feel the need to respect your wife because you didn't. That's the whole bottom line to you married men out there who are dealing with these side chicks. You wonder why these women can't stay in their place because the way these females, they don't feel like they have to respect your marriage because the bottom line is you didn't. You would be amazed at how many married men get busted, and when the side chick wants to come after the wife, all of a sudden he wants to protect his wife from the side chick. Now, had he respected his wife from the beginning by not getting involved with this side dish, this would have never happened. Let me tell you, married men, something. You give these side dishes leverage and you open the door. You invite disrespect into your marriage, into your household, because for one, you're the one who stepped outside of your marriage. So these side chicks are not going to empathize and sympathize because the truth of the matter is they're not married, so they don't have nothing to lose, and the majority of them have low self-esteem, and the majority of them don't feel like they can do any better anyway. So they don't feel bad about how they intrude and ruin things for your household. They don't feel bad. They don't have no filter confronting your wife or exposing you to your wife. They don't care about stuff like that. They have no remorse at all. They don't have a problem exposing you on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook, sending your wife text messages and picture messages of you sleeping knocked out in her bed with your mouth drooling after you done bust a few. She don't have a problem exposing you because she's already miserable in her own right, because as I stated before, any woman who has real self-esteem or self-confidence, she's not about to put herself in a position to be second to no man. She don't want to be the side chick or the main chick. She want to be the only chick. If she's a woman who values her self-worth, she's not even going to mess with you. So keep in mind, if she's dealing with you, even let's say if you lied to her, but she found out eventually you are married and she still deals with you, this is a woman who lacks low self-esteem, because any woman who values herself is not going to put herself in second place to nobody. Either I'm going to be your all or nothing. But for these desperate chicks out here who already know they already narcissists and ain't no other man crazy enough to get in the type of day, they gonna cling on to you tighter than a doggone than a doggone monkey on monkey bars. They're not going to let up that easily because they know ain't too many brothers checking for them like that. So because you being slow and simple and you giving them the time of day, they're going to gravitate towards that. They're not going to let go easily just because you tired and you want to go home and make things work out with your wife. Just because you ready to let go, that don't mean they are. And what happens is the moment they feel like you trying to pull away from them, they'll set you up. And this is where the side chick, this is where the side dish babies, this is where the booby trap babies coming at. Because if you've been screwing her for a minute, eventually you're going to get comfortable. She's going to catch you slipping. She poking holes in the condom. She lying to you about birth control. In all actuality, both of y'all are trifling as hell. Because as a married man, you shouldn't even be going to no chick raw. And as a side chick, you shouldn't want another woman's husband entering your body raw. You shouldn't even want that for yourself. Like I stated, y'all both are already wrong. But because lust has taken over common sense, this is how these booby trap babies become produced. Now, I done rolled you guys. Now let's get to these side chicks. First of all, a lot of y'all, what I've noticed about side chicks is that my mom stated this before, and she never made a more true statement. And I'm gonna repeat what she told me. If you are a single chick and you messing with a married man, 9 times out of 10, that's because you want to be married. If you're a married man messing with a single woman, 9 times out of 10, because that's you want to be single. And that's the God's honest truth. A lot of side chicks are messing with married men because really they wish they could be married. And the only way they can fulfill that fantasy is by messing with somebody else's husband. Now, you side chicks, if you are pregnant or if you have conceived a child, it's because you wanted to be pregnant. You wanted to be. Because women, we have way too many options. We have too much birth control. We have way too many things to protect ourselves from getting pregnant. So the moment you lay down and you spread your wings and you don't use anything, you know exactly what the hell you signing up for. You know that. And like I stated, a lot of you women intentionally do this. If it does not apply, you don't have to reply. But the majority of y'all do this because you already know the chances of him leaving his wife is slim to none. So the only way you feel like you can gain the upper hand in the situation is by getting pregnant. And when you do stuff like that, you open the door to so many things going wrong in your life. Because now you have a child that has come into this world through a curse. God don't bless no mess. You can't bring a child here from a married man and expect that child to be blessed. It's not going to happen. Now, what God can do and will do, God will forgive you if you sincerely repent and you don't have any malicious ill will. You don't try to make no more trouble for the man and his family because you were the one who decided to lay there raw with him, even though he was just as bad as you. But you knew you was going to be the one that ended up with the worst end of the deal because at the end of the day, he still has somebody. Who do you have? So basically, you know what you signed up for. And when this child gets here, that child has already been doomed from the womb. From the moment he or she was conceived, his or her father was already somebody's husband. So that automatically strips the foundation of that child's blessing because the child was conceived through lust and not love, through relations, not a relationship. So you can't expect for that child to benefit. And what a lot of you side chicks are not understanding, when y'all produce and bring these babies here, what happens is, even though you know you did not take proper precautions and you intentionally did what you did and you left yourself open by not using any protection and any birth control, now this child is here. You feeling the raft of having to mother and parent this child on your own. Now you want to go after the man and make trouble for him and his wife and his family. Now keep in mind, granted, he is just as trifling as you. I get it. You got to do what you got to do. You got to get your child support. You got to whatever. You got to get him to do his part if he's not willing to do it, because he helped you produce that child. I get that. But at the same time, he don't owe you nothing else from that. But unless he sat down and agreed and promised you, and literally he left, and you really can't. I really can't say that, because a lot of women, y'all will sit up there and say, "Well, he promised me and told me he was leaving her." No, and unless you saw him actually moved out and you saw the divorce papers, and he still did turn around and abandon you after you had the child, okay, then he's just a messed up Negro. He's straight trifling. But if he kept sitting up there feeding you lines, I'm leaving her, and you know, no, he's still there. He ain't signed no divorce papers. Even though he coming around, he did not officially end anything. Then you knew exactly what you were doing. So you can't sit up here and blame these men. Well, he made it seem like he didn't want to be with her. He made it seem like he was done with her. No. Proof, actions speak louder than words, sweetheart. If you still a grown woman dumb enough to go behind what a man tells you versus what you actually see him doing, then you know exactly what you signed up for. But what happens is, when a child gets here, you don't want to reap the havoc of the responsibilities by yourself. And I get it. Like I said, you got to do what you got to do. But that's pretty much as far as it's going to go, because if he's already in a relationship, like this guy stated in this video, and he definitely he said a mouthful. The gentleman's name is Hassan Campbell, I believe. That child, you can't expect nothing else. That child is not going to be welcome into that home. He's not going to be able to attend all that child's recitals or baseball games or school conferences, because basically the way that child was produced, the child was produced off of the foundation of lust. And there may be some instances, like I said, in which the man will still, be there, even though he know he was wrong, and his wife is supporting him because she don't want the child to suffer. There are some cases in which some people learn to still make the benefits that make decisions that are in the best interest of the child. And for that works for some families, but it doesn't work for all families. His wife is not going to want no parts of your child, because that's a symbol of that child will always represent the pain that was caused in her marriage. And of course, it's not the child's fault. It isn't. But it is your fault as a grown woman and his fault as a grown man. And guess what? Both of y'all are going to have to live with the fact that y'all both have conceived a child that will never really get any acknowledgement, will never really get all the blessings that he or she could have really received had this child been brought here the right way. You don't start off doing things sloppy, but then you want to be privileged. That's like you commit a crime, you murdered somebody. Okay, let's say your first crime was murder, and now you out of prison. You think because you done did your time, now you still supposed to be privileged to somebody just supposed to hire you, even though it's on your record that you're a murderer? It don't go that way. You don't get to decide that you feel like I done paid for my mistake. Now it's time for somebody to step up. She got to deal. No, his wife don't have to deal. Now, I get a lot of side chicks will state this. They will state that, well, I didn't have this child by myself, which is true. You didn't have it by yourself. because he was there. Evidently, it takes two to tangle. But for you to say that the wife is wrong or she should be supportive, you are way out of pocket. That woman was in the picture before you got there. And granted that even though he was wrong, guess what? He gonna have to deal with her on that. But you do not have the right to decide what she needs to do, because she was the wife before you was the side chick. That's like you being hired at a high school as a teacher, and you don't like some of the rules, you don't like some of the procedures, and you're gonna try to tell a principal who has been there 5-6 years way before you even jumped on board how he or she needs to operate the school. No, you don't. It don't go that way. When you a side chick, expect to always be left on the side. You don't get to make any main chick demands. Side chicks with side babies will always be left on the side. Meaning you really don't have no position. Only thing you really entitled to is the child support or the money or whatever. Because he did play a part in that child coming here. But you don't get to tell him what his wife needs to do with your child. Well, it's not my child's fault and my child shouldn't have to suffer. That's true. But you should have thought about that before you spread your wings and you produce this child. How dare you? And the main part about some of you side chicks is that if the shoe would have been on the other foot and you was the one that was married and it was the other way around, you would have not accepted it either. That's what kills me about a lot of us as women. We are so quick to ridicule and want to give another woman a hard time for not accepting our shenanigans. But if the shoe was on the other foot, we wouldn't deal with it either. So put yourself in his wife's shoes. If your husband messed up and went out there, would you accept it? And maybe you would, but guess what? That ain't her. You ain't her and she ain't you. And it's easy for you to say that because you've never been married. A woman or a man who's never been married cannot relate to marriage. You can't. If you've never been married before, you cannot give no advice to nobody on what a wife or should tolerate or what she shouldn't tolerate. You have no expertise in that department because you never been somebody's wife. And let's say even if you were, you still don't get to decide what that woman should or should not do. Now, if she decides to stay with her husband, guess what? That's her right. She was his wife before you became the side dish that got pregnant. So, ain't no need to knock on her. Now, if you want to have ill will towards him, that's fine. But at the same token, you put yourself in that position. Now it's common sense, side chick. If he stepped out on his wife, why would you even feel comfortable going raw with him, seeing how he treats the woman he loves? Why would you feel comfortable? Put yourself in that position. You set yourself up to be dogged. A lot of women, they see what the other woman that's with the man that he's cheating on you with. You see what she's going through with him. What makes you think it's going to be any different for you? A lot of us as women, we think we got the power between our legs to get a man to change and be all of what we want him to be. The power is not between the legs. The power is in between the ears, which is your mind, your brain. If women learn to use more of their brain instead of their vaginas, we wouldn't have half the problems we had. But what happens is, so as women, we allow ourselves to get digmatized. And then we get played in the process. You so busy trying to spitefully get at the other woman that you're compromising your self-worth. And it's a lot of women who do that. It's a lot of women who will sleep with the same man. They both will take turns sleeping with the same man just to spite each other. And both of them in the process is getting played. But for you side chicks, you're not on the same level as the wife. You can't opinionate on how she should accept your side dish child. You have no say so in that. You don't get to decide that. That doesn't make her less or more of a woman if she decides to deal with your child or not deal with them. The whole bottom line is this. When him and his wife decided to take the vows for better or for worse, that was a vow they made before God. So for you side chicks to question why she won't leave her husband, why she's still dealing with him, because she's respecting God's anointing and the word. That in the vows that she spoke before God. Now, if you're a woman that lacks spiritual awareness, you're not going to understand that. That's like talking Greek to somebody who only understands Spanish. Some of you women out here, you would never understand where wives are coming from, because the majority of y'all are not married and will never be married. Some of y'all have never been married. Because what happens is you block your own blessings when you mess with somebody else's husband anyway. And the same thing for you men out here. You block your blessings when you mess with another man's wife. God don't bless no mess. This is not to say that God can't change things around for the better, because he can. He can do whatever he wants to do. Grace is sufficient. God has all the power to give grace to who he wants to give it to and how much grace he wants to extend it to. But some of you can't go on these fairy tales because you've seen it work for other women. You see side chicks was able to take another woman's husband. That don't mean it's going to work for you. The thing is, y'all already be wrong. Like I say, strong and wrong. You already wrong, but then you strong and being trifling about it. You're already wrong for dealing with somebody else's husband. Then you got the audacity to be biggity with your wrongdoing. Yeah, I was effing your man. Yeah, I was so and so. If you was pleasing him, he wouldn't be bothering me. I said that on my last series. That's a side chick myth. It ain't got nothing to do with what the wife doing and ain't doing. It got everything to do with you as an opportunist. You was a straight opportunist. You was easy. You was gullible. And he was trifling. And he was selfish. Because he already knew he had a wife in the family. But these side babies will never get the same privileges. That your child is not going to get the same privileges that his children get at home that he had with the wife. Your child is going to always be on the outside looking in. And as a grown woman, if you have made this decision, if you made this choice, only thing you can do is gracefully walk away and take whatever little bit you can get. Meaning, if he is communicating with you for the sake of the child, if he is sending you money, then you don't need to be glad with that. You don't need to be demanding anything else. Because your demands would never um hold as much weight compared to the wife's demands. That wife is going to come first. And even more so when he knows he has disrespected her and he caused her pain, his remorse, if he has any, is definitely going to see to it that she comes first. And let's face it, we all make mistakes. We do dumb stuff. As much as we like to judge and talk about, oh man, how could y'all still be together after this and after that? One time is a mistake. Second time is a meant to be. Third time, you just straight out don't give a damn. One time, you live, you learn. But when they get to the point they got a second, third, fourth, five side babies, now you just really don't give a damn. And I can respect those who do not want to deal with a man who has had a child on them, or a woman who has had a child on her husband. I can respect that also, because very painful, it's humiliating, it's disrespectful, and it's a permanent choice that will forever sting that significant other. So I understand anybody's intake on the situation, whether you stay, whether you go, you work it out, or you don't want to work it out. Only you know how much you can tolerate. And there's been some marriages that have gone through it and they have been successful. Every marriage has its own journey. So we need not to knock what somebody else is going through, because the stuff you're going to go through that they're not going to have to go through, and the stuff they're going to go through that you're not going to have to go through. We all do not have the same trials. We all don't experience the same journeys. But again, you side chicks, you have no position. And it just because you have a child, you still don't have no position. That, and if you bless that he's with a woman that's willing to accept your child despite his wrongdoing, then consider that a blessing. Because there's not too many women going there. Don't give this woman a hard time about your child and demand of her, make her regret even trying to work with you. You can't do that. But again, a lot of people, some people will never understand the dynamics of marriage because they don't understand marriage is an anointing. And you can't relate to something you never had. I can't relate to side chicks who never been married anyway, because they don't understand the sacredness, and the majority of them, they don't care to understand. But it's all good, because at the end of the day, you definitely going to reap what you sow. He's going to reap what he sows for cheating on his wife, and you're going to reap what you sow for messing with him, knowing he had a wife he was cheating on. Everybody reaps what the hell they sow. What goes around comes around. What goes up must come down. Karma has everybody address. You go out there, you do stuff trifling, and you don't give a rat's ass because I'ma do me. You don't care nothing about how you hurt the other woman, even though we all are women. And one thing, women, as I said, we all can relate to pain. You messing with somebody else's husband, you know you won't want nobody to mess with yours if you were married. But you want to keep making excuses. Well, he came to me. And same thing with you married men out there. You wouldn't want a man touching your wife or screwing your wife. So why are you out here screwing other women? If people would just learn to put themselves in other people's shoes, we won't have the problems that we have. But these side dish babies, honey, they will never get the same privileges as the man whose children he has from the wife. It's just not going to happen. But anyhow, like I said, I know some side chicks are going to get very upset about this. And that's cool. They'll get over it, especially when they get their child support. This has been long content. Only reason my content alone is 40, well, going on 48 minutes. It's only been longer because I'm going to put the clip in the process of this video, and this is the last series that I plan on doing, covering no respect for sex. So that's why this content is extremely long than the other two. But I would definitely like y'all intake on this. How do y'all feel about these side chicks with these side babies? Have you, anybody out here who ever been in this situation, have experienced it? You know, how did you get through it? You know, if you don't care to be open with it on the comments, I respect that. I just want your opinion on it, even if you don't want to speak on your own personal experiences with it. What do y'all think about these side chicks having these babies out here? What do you think about these men that are willing to risk and jeopardize their marriage and their families by taking chances, going in the raw with these outside chicks? So, you know, I'm sure everybody has their own perspective on this situation, but I definitely like y'all input on it. But I have rambled on long enough. I got all of my equipment, everyone, so my next uploaded video is going to be me. We're not going to do this behind the scenes stuff like I've been doing. Thanks to all of my donations. I've been able to get all of my equipment. Let me give a shout out to this gentleman while he's on my mind. Let me give a shout out to him because he sent me a donation. Cornell Ginger, I want to thank him for his $2 donation to my channel. Appreciate you. Thank you very much. Anybody else who wants to donate, yeah, my link will be to the bottom. If you can't donate, just donate your time. Keep in mind all the commercials that are running through my content, I get paid if you don't skip through those. So that'll be your way of donating to my channel, even if you don't pay 1 cent. Okay, so help a sister out so I can continue to keep growing and giving you ladies and you gentlemen out here the best content. All right, so on that note, this is your girl Lady Mocha. I'm signing off. I'm going to always pour you a cup of truth and break you off with a slice of knowledge. See y'all soon. Take care. Bye.